Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life of Logan. This is episode 104 of the Life of Logan podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And whether you are tuned into the audio only version of this or you are heading over to Life of Logan TV at youtube.com, I welcome you all. If you're returning, welcome. Thanks for coming back. And if you're new, hey, welcome in. Make sure that you look around, see what you can see, see if anything piques your fancy, and let's connect. Comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you like the video as well. So, on today's episode, I want to talk to you all about your world being shattered. Specifically, the rose-colored glasses that we particularly try to look at our world through. We look at our world through rose-colored glasses sometimes, and it's almost like that meme of the dog in a burning room or burning house, and they're saying, this is fine, everything's fine. And that's usually the way that we are. Sometimes it's because that's just what we're conditioned to. We're conditioned to the chaos and everything going on around us. So we think that, hey, this is fine. This is fine. Like, I'm used to it. I'm used to operating in chaos. Or we're just delusional sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with being delusional, because sometimes you are delusional. Shoot, when you're praying and manifesting, it's ignoring your circumstances. So you have to be a little bit delusional in terms of that in those times. But when you're just, nah, this is fine, the whole area is burning down around us, and we're just saying, this is fine. And we can condition ourselves to live through that turmoil and through that pain for weeks, months, even sometimes years. And that's just not the way it's supposed to be. And sometimes our reality has to be turned on its head. Like, your reality must be turned on its head, because if your reality isn't turned on its head, then you won't see things for what they are. I've talked about it before in the spiritual community. It's called tower moments. It's just things that you can't avoid, but I mean, if you were looking at the landscape of your life, then you should have been able to at least prepare for it and see it coming. And you can't avoid that. And a lot of the times the tower moment is to inspire change. It's to basically make you move. You either gonna ish or you gonna get off the pot, but you will not continue to stay here. You won't continue to stay here because there's no place left for you here. Like, there's no place left for you here. And I kind of feel that way a little bit now in terms of what's happening in my personal life. It feels like any and everything that, I'm not going to say that can go wrong, because nothing really goes wrong. Things, we need to quit being so reactionary and saying that things are going wrong, because things aren't going wrong. They was probably bad all along, and we were just ignoring them, and we were in that willfulness, ignorance is bliss type phase. And sometimes things just got bad, but they got bad because it's your time. It's your time to do this. And as I said, as much as we may want kicking and screaming for people to come with us, everybody can't come with us to the next level. And some people, it's not even about going to the next level. Like, this is their final stop in our lives. This is it. Like, it is no more. It is no more of any of that. This is it. It's time. And I bid you good day. So that is kind of a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of what's happening with me. But in terms of that, what's happening with me, I'm not really afraid. like I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I guess because I've had plenty of practice in doing my walks alone and my ascension and everything or whatever. Like I'm not really afraid. Like I'm kind of going to this treating this like, yo, this is COVID part two. This is like COVID lockdown part two for me. And I know I thrived so much during the COVID lockdown um, with just taking that time, having that divine pause, and being able to re-register myself. And I had neglected myself for so long that COVID actually saved my life. To be quite honest, like that time alone saved my life, and it made me, start to love myself and become who I am right here in front of you all now. And so I'm going into it just like, I'm okay with that. Like shatter my reality. Like whatever I thought things were, if they in fact were not, please show me. Please show me so I can do better. Because that's really what I'm still living for is there's always a chance to do better. Every day is a new opportunity to do better. And that's what I have to look forward to. Like that's what I've had to put in place in my life to kind of like give me something to look forward to, give me something to keep pushing along. The fact that, yo, you can always do better. It's always room for improvement. So you have to be willing, not willing, because it'll happen no matter you want it to or not. You can still be in a burning building, saying to yourself like, "This is fine. This is fine. Nothing. Everything's okay. This is fine. What are you talking about?" And it's not. It's not okay. And you must allow yourself that time in life to be able to look at things honestly, look at things through not like just with your eyes or well, like with your mind. Sometimes you need to see things energetically. You need to see things with your heart, and it's important to be emotionally observant, like not just paying attention to again what's going on in front of your eyes or what is this person saying to me. How do things look, how do I look? No, analyze yourself over these next, really, shoot, man, I'm gonna go ahead and just say for me it's like these next 3 to 6 months, possibly even 8 months. So we're talking about like strong, like fall energy, autumn energy. In 3 months, we'll be heading into Labor Day. And which is, for a lot of people, the official end of summer, and we're heading into fall energy, and then the year already goes fast anyway, but then the year just kind of like just boat races to the end. And yeah, in the next 3, 6, 8 months, like pay attention, like become more energy observant during these times, because things are shifting. Things are always shifting for us, but it's gonna be a hot summer in more ways than one, and it's gonna end up carrying over, I feel, to the next stage. So make sure you're emotionally observant. Like, how do I feel right now? Like, have those emotional checkpoints, even if they're kind of just like little sit points, where you may be out at a day party, or you may be out like doing something alone, having treating yourself to lunch, taking yourself on a date or whatever. You may be out like with family, you may just be like driving in your car, but take those times to be emotionally observant, like realizing like, hey, how do I feel? Like, hey, that stuff that happened yesterday, or when so and so said what they said or whatever, even though they led it off with, and I hate when people say this because that it's about to be that way, but I don't even understand why people say things like, "Hey, I'm not trying to be offensive," or "Hey, I'm not, I'm not trying to, ruffle feathers or hurt feelings or anything. I'm not trying to cause any discourse or chaos or whatever and stuff like that." You know you know before you even say it that that's what's about to happen more times than not, because you know that if someone were to do, say or conduct themselves in the same manner that you're about to, that you would not be accepting of it. So situations like that, or hey, at one point I was okay with this person joking with me like that. Now I'm not okay with it. Or I just don't like the way I feel around this person anymore. Like, I don't like the way I feel around this person anymore. And that is valid enough reason to stop messing with a person, or to at least detach, distance yourself, and move away from that person, to realize, like, hey, why do I not like being around this person anymore? This is one of my favorite people. This is one of my favorite people. Why do I not like being around this person anymore? And you will be surprised, kind of like the way that things go, and the way that things kind of like shift in your reality, because you start to kind of like see things for what they are. And why is that? Because you are emotionally observant. And with you being emotionally observant, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that you just ain't gonna put up with anymore. Like, that's not saying that you won't cuss anybody out, and I'm not against that, because Lord knows I didn't cuss a few people out, even recently or whatever. Like, I'm never too evolved to, like, put somebody in their place. But it's about just understanding, like, when you're emotionally observant, you kind of say, you know what, is this going to help the situation, or is this going to add to it? Is this going to be me cutting off the oxygen to the fire, or is this going to be me pouring accelerant on the fire? And depending on, your mood or whatever, like, you might be like, hey, we can burn this mother down. Like, we can burn all of this down. Like, I don't care. And valid. I'm with you, because there have been a few times, especially recently, I'm like, I don't need the friendship, I don't need the kinship, I don't need the fake love, I don't need any of that. Like, I'll just burn this whole thing down or whatever. And I guess you could say in one way or another, I have burned it down, even with me just saying, like, hey, you know what? I think this is it for us. I think that this friendship has ran its course. Or, hey, I know that we're family and everything or whatever, but I would prefer if you would please just leave me alone and stay out of my life. And I know that that right there can cut people, even though I'm not trying to do that, but I want it to be no misunderstanding. Like, I went into my personal place. This is what I feel now, and I feel like we should move like this, and in this way. So, with all of that being said, what are some things that have us where we are? And I have notes. What are some things that have us kind of feeling like we have to be delusional, or we have to just kind of like just sit in things that we know aren't real, but it's like Al Green said, it's just like, make me believe that you love me, like, make me believe that this is all real. Let's play make believe that this is all real, and this is all gonna go according to plan. One of the things is, I feel like, and these are just things that I've kind of like figured out in my time, it's a lack of self-worth. Sometimes we lack self-worth, and that's why I told y'all in a previous video. I think the last episode of this podcast, matter of fact, go check that out, episode 103. Lack of self-worth leads us to where we don't feel like we should be celebrated. We don't feel like we should be congratulated. And it also puts us in a situation where we don't feel like we deserve more. We don't feel like we deserve more from the people around us, and we don't feel like we deserve more from ourselves to be able to put ourselves in better situations. And when you lack that self-worth, it doesn't mean you hate yourself, or, it's not like it's not like in the typical way of, oh, I'm fat, or, oh, I think I'm ugly, or, oh, it's not even about that. It's just the fact of, sometimes you just don't see yourself as that. Sometimes you don't think that you deserve more. You think you're just like, you think you're just worthy of the bare minimum, and you just like, shoot. Sometimes I'm not even worthy of the bare minimum, and we need to change that type of lack mindset. Also, there are times that we keep ourselves in these situations, in these toxic, hellish cycles or whatever, where we keep on, we keep on overstaying our welcome or holding on to things until we shouldn't anymore. And this is kind of the piggyback off of the lack of self-worth, but it's kind of like a penance for sins of the past. Our minds are freaking time machines. Our minds are time machines, and a lot of the times, I know with my mind, it kind of sometimes will go back to bad times in life. It'll go back to times where I royally messed up. Like you talk about screwing the pooch or whatever people say now, whatever. Like I didn't effed up. I've effed up plenty of times in my life, and that is part of the reason why I just didn't believe that I deserved good things, because even though people may have not have been holding those things against me, like no one is holding anything against me. It's always been me. I'm the one who's holding things against myself, not against other people. I'm holding things against myself, like, dang, I really messed up, or wow, I really hurt this person's feelings or whatever. And if you know me, you know I'm gentle, I'm a teddy bear. And I take that really hard when I fall short of expectations that I put on myself for people, because I set very high expectations for myself, even in interacting with people. And then when I fall short or whatever, because I never want anybody to have to feel like they were let down, or they cannot call on me in their time of need, especially if you're someone who I love, who you've been there for me or whatever. So of course I want to reciprocate. I want to return the favor. So some of it is just like, yeah, I'm paying for the sins of the past. You may not be holding it against me anymore, but I never got past what I inflicted on you. So now I can't really enjoy like my days or whatever, and I'm putting myself through even more turmoil and chaos or whatever, because I feel like I owe you something by staying here, because maybe I've taken you through things, or maybe we've been through so many different things or whatever, where it's just like I can't be without them now. Like that's my dog, or that's my boo, that's my baby. Like I can't be without them now after we've been through all this stuff with each other. Like we gotta be with each other, and that's not really the case, boys and girls. And then there's also the case of fear of the unknown. Fear of the unknown. We're scared of what may happen, even if we're in the process of making better decisions, because sometimes it can feel like when you're in these situations that every decision is a bad decision. And it might be a worse decision, but the thing about it is you will not know until you make that decision. You can't be scared of what happens, because that's life. Life is a series of what happens. Life is a series of decisions followed by consequences, along with some actions and a little rinse and repeat, because not all decisions are going to be good. Even if you have convinced yourself like, man, this is the best decision possible, like, man, this is going to work or whatever, and then you get there and you like, man, I should have stayed where I was at. I should have literally stayed where I was at, because I should have stayed in that situation. I should have stayed in that house. I should have stayed with that person. I should have stayed with their friend group, all of that. That's what we tell ourselves, because when change first happens, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Change is change is a part of the grieving process. Like, because death is the final change in life. And that's a part of the grieving process, because now you have to adjust to a new world order. You know, I used to talk to this person every day, or I used to see this person a couple of times a week or whatever, or, you know, this is my hometown. I've always lived here or whatever. I know where everything is or whatever. I know how to navigate through through the streets. I take the highway. I know how to navigate through the streets to get wherever I need to go. And now you're telling me, because the disillusion of reality that I have has been shattered, now I have to move on and I have to do something else. And that's scary. Like, that's scary, but isn't it just as scary to sit right here and continue to do the same thing? That's something only you can decide. And my final note is, and I've had to experience this too, because they always say remove negative things from your life, remove negative things, remove negative people, people, places, or things that do not fit the path that you have set forth for yourself and that you're going forward with. They say do all of that. But a lot of times there need to be so many wholesale changes made in our lives that it's just like, nah, like, I'll do you one better, because it's going to be too much of a heavy lift to try to remove all of these things that I perceive negative, or all these things I perceive as holding me back in life. It is going to be too much of a heavy lift for me to do that. So I'll do you one better. And this is actually the easier course to do things, believe it or not, because I've had to do it. You just uproot yourself. You uproot yourself and you remove yourself from these people's lives. You remove yourself from going to those places. You remove yourself from indulging in certain types of activity that no longer fits where you're trying to go. You remove yourself, and it's actually a lot easier than said than done. You remove yourself. You know, it might take you having to block some people. It might take, it might take you, like maybe taking scenic routes and stuff like that or whatever. It's gonna take you some alone time and everything, but I'm gonna tell you something right now. You will be so much better for the alone time. You will be so much better for the alone time, and you will thank yourself, because in that alone time, it breeds clarity. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another video courtesy of Life of Logan TV. Again, if you are listening to the audio only presentation of this, I appreciate you. Make sure that you're subscribed to the podcast wherever you're listening to it at. Make sure that you are sharing the content. Share it all over your social medias. Don't forget to tag me, Life of Logan Pod, on Instagram. Also, my email is lifeofloganpod there as well, lifeofloganpod@gmail.com. Make sure that you email me with anything that you want to say. Make sure that you are clipping and sharing the content. Also on TikTok, you can tag me on TikTok, the Dashing Mr. Logan there. I appreciate everyone who does all of that. And if you are listening/watching this on YouTube.com, make sure that you are liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And once you hit that subscribe button, you might as well go on ahead and do the final quick favor for me, the final quick solid for me, and make sure that you are hitting that notification bell so you're always alerted whenever I drop one of these videos. Ding, ding. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, go and be great. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.